Every year since becoming General Secretary of the party, in the run-up to Chinese New Year, Xi Jinping has made a point of visiting some of the country's poorest people living in the most deprived areas. This year, Xi has travelled to Liangshan in Sichuan province, southwest China. Locked in the deep mountains, this area is home to the largest Yi community in China. So, why does the leader of the world's second largest economy take time out from his official duties to pay house calls on ordinary people? This is Xinhua Special, and I'm Helen Bentley. Liangshan is one of the least developed areas in Sichuan, and flash floods and landslides mean life in these beautiful mountains is very hard. About 4.4 million people live in Liangshan, of which 490,000 are below the national poverty line. On Sunday, Xi was in Jiaojue County, where he visited the homes of some of the local Yi, one of China's ethnic groups. The villagers told Xi that in the past, they thought they were haunted by ghosts when they fell sick. And it wasn't until they were taught about hygiene that they realised that their lifestyles were making them ill. Xi replied that ignorance and poverty were ghosts of the past. Once these problems are resolved, the ghosts would be driven away. In Sanhe, villagers who need assistance are allocated cattle or swine and encouraged to grow potatoes or cash crops like walnuts. All the children in the village go to school.
今天我见到喜也非常激动，以前都是在电视上见到他，他叫我好好读书，我觉得要不负喜爷爷的众望，长大之后努力学习，建设好家乡祖国。
When Xi spoke to the villagers, he underscored a promise that he made after being re-elected CPC party chief in October, that no one would be left behind in the march toward common prosperity, not a single ethnic group, family or person. Today, more than half of China's population live in towns and cities. Xi's visits to the countryside are a clear sign that those who remain there or who've never had the chance to leave have not been forgotten. In 2015, when China announced that it would eradicate poverty by 2020, more than 70 million people fell into that class. By the end of last year, the number had been reduced to around 30 million. Xi's visits are not about waving to cheering crowds or shaking eager hands. They're part of the Chinese New Year custom of visiting old friends and family, a tradition as old as the Great Wall.
总书记来我家就开给我开始包子，总书记说啥年货都办好了，总书记说那我就放心了。
The enduring feature of these house calls is Xi's interest in talking to ordinary people about their everyday lives. He never fails to ask them about the real impact of poverty relief measures on their households and listens to whatever people have to say. Back in February 2015, Xi returned to the village in Shanxi, where more than 4 decades before he'd gone to live and work as part of a campaign to send urban youth to experience rural life as farm labourers. Xi once wrote that these yellow earth years were his making. He arrived a confused teenager and left as a man with a mission to serve the people. Xi's tours of the coalface are the clearest example of his people-first approach. Yes, he offers his New Year greetings to the poor villagers and shows these rural residents that they've not been forgotten. But more than that, he leaves them with a sense of hope for a better lives in the year to come. See you next time. Happy New Year.